Alright guys, I'm going to try to break down this worksheet because it was the one that people seem to be struggling with the most, and it hits multiple buttons at the same time. So I'm going to do the front that we did in class, but I'm just going to break it down again, and then I'm going to go through the back. And then, yeah. So the first question talks about the symbol. And the symbol, like this sodium that's here, says that it's just one atom. Of sodium. I don't know if you can hear the Simpsons in the background now. So a subscript is the number that's written to the lower right corner and behind the symbol. This tells you that there's more than one atom of that element. The subscript is used to indicate that number of atoms. So this hydrogen 2 tells me that there's 2 hydrogens. Or it's like writing HH. The subscripts are always the small numbers. Think like a subway. It's underneath. It's always written to the left of it, or to the right of it, but the number affects the one to the left. So this guy, this little 2, has just a little bit of energy, and he can only travel to this H. Subscripts outside of the bracket multiply the whole bracket. So I'm going to use my colored pencil. This 2 can only affect the phosphorus and the oxygen. So the way I do it is I go in and I multiply this 2 across, and then I do the rest of the math. So 2 times 1 for phosphorus, use the black because it works a little better, is 2. 2 times 4 for the oxygen is 8. So that gets rid of that 2. So now I can go and do the math for it. So the magnesium, there's a 3. There's 3 atoms of magnesium. Phosphorus, there's a 2. And this oxygen, now there's an 8. Remember that the subscripts can't go to the other side of that parentheses or that bracket. So it would not affect, so this little 2, this subscript 2, can't affect that copper 4. The next piece. Let's do that so we can all see. Sideways, and I'm sorry. Says a coefficient is the number written in front of the chemical symbol, and it indicates the number of atoms in that element. While that's kind of true, I would be more inclined to say that the subscripts tell me the number of molecules. So this one, while it's just one element, tells me that there's 3 carbon atoms, which is like writing carbon, carbon, carbon. But when we look at stuff like this, this tells me that there's two molecules of water. So if I multiply this 2 across, because it affects all the elements, for hydrogen, 2 times 2 gives me 4. Remember, if there's no number back there, you assume it's a 1. So 2 times 1 for oxygen is 2. So then I'm making tea, if you can't hear it. It's super loud to me. So this 3 tells me that there's 3 molecules of copper sulfide. So the copper, the sulfur, and the oxygen get multiplied by 3. So 3 times 1 copper gives me 3. 3 times 1 sulfur gives me 3. 3 times 4 for oxygen gives me 12. So then let's do this lead nitric. So the 4 goes all the way across, the lead, the nitrogen, and the oxygen. But this 2, outside of the subscript, I'm going to get rid of him. 2 times 1 for nitrogen is 2. 2 times 3 for oxygen is 6. So there's 4 molecules of this lead nitric oxide. 4 times 1 for lead gives me 4. 4 times 2 for nitrogen gives me 8. 4 times 6 for oxygen gives me 24. So then let's look at the back. I'm not going to do all these because I'm pretty sure nobody wants to listen to me for the next 5 minutes go through this whole back page. So we're going to do some easy-esque ones, and then we'll do some of the more difficult ones. So this one, where it says type of atom, it just wanted you to write the symbols. So sodium, carbon, and oxygen. So it's sodium. I just have the subscripts, that's 2. Carbon, there's no number beside it, so it tells me there's a 1. Oxygen, there's a 3 for a subscript, so that's 3. So then to get the total number of atoms, you add it up. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 3 is 6. So then let's look at this big crazy guy down here. Nitrogen, hydrogen, carbon, hydrogen again, oxygen. So nitrogen, there's only 1 because there's no subscript. Hydrogen, there's 4 plus this 3. So 4 plus the 3 is 7. Carbon, there's a 2 for a subscript. Oxygen, there's a 2 for a subscript. So now I add them up. 1 plus 7 is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So let's look down here at this lead, which is almost the same question as back here. And now it's just got no subscript. So this is kind of one of those moments where if you use the test, if you were taking a test for this, you can use the test to help you work the questions. So I could flip it over and just get my answer. But for this one, because it's easy, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. But I picked this one because I saw a lot of people trying to put nitrogen and oxygen on this same line. Because 2 capitals tell me that there's 2 elements. If it's a capital and a lowercase, like with lead, I know that lead, because it's a capital and a lowercase, tells me that it's 1 element. So this is the second element and the third element. So with lead, there's no subscript, so it's a 1. With this one, the 2 comes across, so 2 times 1 for nitrogen is 2. 2 times 3 for oxygen is 6, and then I add them up. 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So let's look at this beryllium chlorine. Again, there's a lowercase and an uppercase, so it tells me that there's 2 elements here. I have beryllium and chlorine. Remember, if it was this, then it would be chlorine and iodine. There's no element on the periodic table that's just L. There's an Li, but not just an L. So I know that this has got to be 2 different elements. So my 3 molecules of this beryllium chloride, or barium chloride. Yeah, barium chloride. So I'm going to multiply the 3 times the 1 for barium and get 3. For chlorine, 3 times 2 gives me 6. So 6 plus 3 gives me 9. Hopefully this has gotten easier over the week that we practiced it ad nauseum. So again, I've got different elements here. I have aluminum, carbon, and oxygen. The 4 goes across everything. This little subscript only goes with what it's in the parentheses. The big coefficient goes across everything. So let's get this guy out of the way first. 3 times 1 for carbon is 3. 3 times 3 for oxygen is 9. Now I can do the math across. So 4 times 2. Oh no. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 for carbon is 12. 4 times 9 for oxygen is 36. Oh, my marker skipped. I'm using my calculator because I'm not going to try to add this up in my head. And if I add them up, they're 59. Which doesn't look right at all. So, because I don't trust my calculator, I'm going to do this. 6, well, so 8, 9, 10, so that's 16. 3, 4, 5. So it was close, but it wasn't right. So it's a 56. So if you want me to work another one, then leave it in the comments down below, and I'll work a different one for you. So hopefully that helps.